when Christ is inside of you and dwells in you, you can't take it out. It's there. And I knew it. And, are we all sinners? Absolutely. You better believe it. And have I sinned many times since then? Of course. But and I've just been tested time and time again, and I've got multiple stories I can share with you over that.
Welcome to the Ignite with Barry McGuire podcast. How would you like to have the time of your life for the rest of your life? How would you like to defeat fear effortlessly, knowing for sure God is hearing and answering your prayers and directing your steps and making everything work for good? This is exciting. Here's the question. How would you like to ignite your life? Stay tuned. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ignite. Great guest today. All our guests are great, but this one's very special. Cameron, thank you. Welcome for joining us for a little bit this wonderful, beautiful day.
Yes, thank you, Barry. And what an honor and pleasure for you to have me, and I appreciate it very much.
You and I are going to have a conversation. We've had a number of them. To put this in proper perspective for those of you who are watching us, Cameron and I don't hang out. We don't hang out. We're not spending our time together. In the traditional sense, we're not friends. We're brothers. But we haven't, we often go to the rodeo, and I'm the farthest thing from a cowboy, but I put on the hat and the boots and the buckle, and I blend in and go to the national finals rodeo, at the best. And they have at the Las Vegas Convention Center what they call Cowboy Christmas. And I can say it's a hoot. It's just, Karen loves Cowboy Christmas. It's everything you can think of, from jewelry to harnesses to saddles to buckles to you name it. It's all there. You want to build a ranch, they got everything you need to build a ranch or whatever. It's mind-boggling. Cowboys are friendly. It's a friendly group, and when I blend in with all my paraphernalia, they think I'm one of them, and so it's just a great time. And I think it was on the first one we went to. It's a lot of years ago now.
Yeah, it's been about a decade.
But we have mutual friends that introduced us. Mike Ingram. Ingram is just an amazing, bigger-than-life kind of guy. And his dear wife, she's amazing. Anyway, they love all over you. You've known them for a lot of years. And they introduced us to you. And we before long found ourselves off to the side of your massive display because we quickly found out, when we're sharing our faith, we share our faith, and we were each sharing our faith with each other and realized we were both Christians and we're on the same page. Your company name is Rockwell Tharp, right?
That's right. Yes, sir.
All right. Tell us about your company. We need, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
talk about it right quick.
Sure. So we are a fashion company. We are a Christian fashion company. We are Christian based, Christian faith. My wife and I'm one of the co-founders of the company alongside my wife, Christy Rockwell Tharp. And we design and sell boots and shoes and handbags and apparel. And we're all about unique and fashion and faith. And we're all across North America and in some other parts of the world, in fact, as well. And yes, you're right. About a decade ago, Mike and Sheila Ingram introduced yourself and your beautiful wife, Karen, and many other folks to us as well. And we just had a relationship that just sort of took off from there. And of course, your wife became a client and a customer, and we just built bridges from there. So,
well, Sheila is one of the lights of our life. She's the light of everybody's life. I never had anybody more loving, more caring, more thoughtful, And so when she was the actual one to bring us over there, and we knew it had to be pretty special, she was so excited about you. And of course, Karen was right in on it. You do have amazing. How can people get to? What's your website so people can go and see your products?
Sure. So our company is Rockwell Tharp, and our website is rockwelltharp.com. And then there's obviously Facebook, Instagram, all the
Yeah.
social media platforms, but rockwelltharp.com. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So we're both quote unquote Christian businessmen
Yes, sir.
who are more excited about being Christian than being businessmen and
Sure.
the joy of our lives coming there. Talk about, let's go back to your background right quick. It's someone I don't even know, but tell us how you came to know the Lord. What's the background with you guys?
Really, if you want to go back to the core, is my younger brother died of cancer when I was a child, and my family was searching and seeking and looking for answers, and really saw all over the world. And my parents discovered Christ, and, um, the real Christ, and that trickled down to the rest of us children, and then we accepted Christ as our Savior
How
at a
old were
young.
you?
I was approximately 8 years old. So I've been sharing Christ at a minimum since I was eight, and unabashedly. And I mean, and it's carried now into the business world, which is reaching probably millions of people.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning here. Back to 8 years old. How does an 8-year-old think in terms? Most you do know, of course, that a lot of people accept the Lord when they're young, when they're children, but they don't necessarily become a faith sharer. They go along with the crowd. You're different. What happened to you that sets you apart differently, and you wanted to share your experience?
Barry, I spent a lot of time at that age. I mean, just be blunt and up front. I mean, I was crying. I was hurting. Our whole family was turned upside down in tragedy. I would sneak into the Bible studies that my parents would have in their living room at their home. And
You snuck into their
I
Bible
snuck
study.
into Bible study because it was really for adults. But I guess I thought I was a little adult. So, yeah. When Christ is inside of you and dwells in you, you can't take it out. It's there. And I knew it. And are we all sinners? Absolutely. You better believe it. And have I sinned many times since then? Of course. But so and I've just been tested time and time again, and I've got multiple stories I can share with you over that. And but yeah, sneaking into the Bible studies, sharing, going through some of the ups and downs, and then being given different platforms that one of which I have right now to share on.
Give an example of how an 8-year-old would share his faith.
Yeah, so it may have been eight, it may have been nine. I'm not exactly sure, but an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I got very involved with adults actually at eight, and people kept calling me like a little adult because I was so mature in my wanting and my desire, my quest to know more about the Bible and the truth, and so I would share, and I would share with anyone in the room, anywhere, anytime.
So you were focused on the word. Your understanding of the word must have been a bit beyond your years. I mean, this is.
In this category, I wouldn't say I'm mature in all categories, but in this category, I would say I was,
Yeah.
and perhaps could claim still am.
Yeah.
It takes some people many years to figure some things out, and for me, this didn't take very long because I heard the truth, I knew the truth, and I accepted the truth.
It's interesting, and I do say this on occasion. The people I know who are sharing their faith the most have the most joy. You tell when people have joy. I like hanging around people that have the joy of the Lord in them.
Yeah.
But when I get to meet them and talk to them, almost without exception, I would dare say without exception, there is great pain that has been experienced, great losses.
Oh my gosh, Barry. And that, I was prepared to talk about some of that. I mean, just because I've accepted Christ, just because Jesus is my Lord and Savior, just because I choose to share him does not mean I have a golden road. I do not, and I have not.
It didn't just go happily ever after. That didn't happen for you.
I'm sorry it didn't. Now, he has opened some beautiful doors for me. He's smacked some shut. But I mean, Barry, I have been through some major life and death
Yeah,
situations,
I,
tragedies.
I want to hear where you're going with this, but just my personal observation from my own life and from others I've watched. But The wages of pain is more pain when you respond correctly, because he doesn't. First off, he doesn't give us more than we can endure. We know that. So when I'm going through pain, it's actually a compliment. He knows I can get through that pain. Folks, if you're in the middle of something right now, it's a compliment from God. He knows He's made you. He knows you. He knows you're strong enough to get through this pain. If you choose to, you can curse God and go the other way, but He knows you're strong enough. But when you get through the other side, it's setting you up for something stronger. Unfortunately, they keep building. They don't get smaller. They keep getting. It's okay. Now I can trust you with this. Corey Ten Boom. I recall one of her words about she wanted to pick up a piece of luggage. Her dad says, "You're not strong enough to pick that up. You pick up that one." And she had a spiritual truth that you pick up what you can handle now, and that'll give you strength. And then you can pick up the next one, and then the next one, and such as we go through life. It's called maturity. We mature through the years, but also not only what we can do, but what we can handle. And so you have mirrored this. I'm waiting to hear your story, but this is, for me, this is exciting. Yeah.
You're right, Barry. And, to put a different perspective on that too, it's almost like if you don't get presented some tragedies and some tough times, it's almost like you may not be doing the right thing.
Or he can't trust you. He knows you can't handle it. You're too weak.
Or that. Exactly. Yeah. And so when I went to school at SMU in Dallas, and I was going home to see my grandmother, and I flipped my car on the way home from Dallas to Alabama. I flipped my car 13 times, a highway, just a solo highway crash.
Wow.
And essentially, yes, I was injured, but of course I had staples in my head and tore my eye and did some other, had a hole through my foot, which I can look at every day and still to the day see that scar, which is a reminder of, Jesus and his holes in his feet. But, so that's one thing that I went through, flipped my car 13 times, essentially walked away and survived. And then when Christy Rockwell Tharp and my...
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. So what did you learn through that? It wasn't for naught. What did you learn through that experience? Oh,
that was a very big wake-up call, especially in my college years where I was, having some fun, I suppose. And I never can forget it. I mean, every day a person looks in the mirror, or looks at their feet, or looks at their hands, and I see this old scar of a hole through my foot, and I think of Jesus in one way or another.
Yeah.
So, but what have I learned? I mean, a tremendous amount. This was many, many years ago. I've been through some more recent stuff that's been tragic life and death, but this is, I just feel like a lot of attacks have come my way, but God has continued to protect myself, my wife, us, our family, and our company.
You can curse God. You can say, God, where are you? Where are you? I thought you were here. A lot of good you're doing me. Or you can go the other way, which I have, and say, God, I need you now more than ever. I trust you. You're going to use this for your glory. And we keep the joy. I tell everybody, never lose your joy. Don't let anything rob you of your joy. And nothing can rob you of your joy if you're living for his purpose. He says, if you bear fruit, my joy remain with you, and your joy remain full. And that's through the worst of times. Your joy just keeps on. And you and I both I'm not talking about mine, but I've had my few of those moments without losing my joy. In fact, learning more about his faithfulness, having intimacy with God. So I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm just saying amen and amen. Keep on going. Share it with us.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that when Christy and I started this company, and about 15 years ago, we made some decisions. We walked away from our corporate jobs, and we made and walked into the fashion industry, which is, there's a pretty big lack of faith in the fashion industry, if we be frank. But we decided against our business mentor friends to incorporate God and Jesus into our business. So we, on all of our boots, we took a Bible verse and have inscribed it on the back of each one of our zippers. So if you ever have a pair of our boots or ever worn a pair and it has a zipper on it, you will have a Bible verse on it, and you will know that you've been prayed for. And before you ever even got those boots, before you ever even came to know us personally, and so that's something we do. We also give these coins that say, "Where will you spend eternity?" They're in every shopping bag. They're free. We give them to every person. They can grab them. They can take them. They can take as many as they want. Obviously, they get them in the. We also give you've probably seen like the eternity bracelets. Where will you spend eternity? God sent his son, Jesus Christ, die on the cross for my sins. He was buried in the tomb. He rose again on the third day, and he promises to return. It's on our business cards. We put our Bible verse on our business cards. This is huge. This is a track, I guess you would call it, old school version track, but
that's a big track.
Yeah, it's a big one because it's got it all. But it's where will you spend eternity? And then if you want to know more, you just keep reading. And if you don't, then you can.
You're all in.
We're all in. And I do believe that this is why we are protected, but I also believe it's also why we get thrown some of these attacks like you were referring to. And you asked about one, and one I went through 3 years ago. I think I had just seen you right afterward, but I had major cancer in my throat.
Yeah.
I had a golf ball size tumor.
Unbelievable. Yes.
It was probably a 50-50. Will I live? Will I won't? And they took 46 lymph nodes out of the side of my neck. And then robotically, this was at the Mayo Clinic, and then robotically went down with 2 surgeons and a robot, went down to my throat and cut the entire tumor out. And I had 2 prayers. And I didn't feel these were selfish prayers. I said, "Dear God, please don't make my wife a widow at this early age in marriage. And dear Lord, would you please spare me from chemo and radiation?" I got both.
Boy, incredible.
That to me was super powerful. I wasn't praying for all the other stuff. I wanted just those 2 things. I felt I was too young to be going through chemical treatment and radiation, and of course I didn't want to.
So talk about your faith at that point, your trust in God at that point. Before the surgery, explain where you were spiritually. What was going on in your mind and your heart? Okay, so I felt strong spiritually before, and I felt even stronger spiritually afterward. I never, ever blamed God. I never cursed God, like you mentioned before. I never, was there perhaps some doubt, some whys, maybe, but I became closer with my wife. I became more intimate with God, and I got through it, and it was quite amazing. And I had a story to tell, and my story got picked up on different news outlets. It got picked up. It got published. It got published in many different languages and circled around the world. I mean, people were very interested to know the story, and it's because I chose to speak about it. I chose to share it. Many people keep their story private, and they don't put it on Facebook or social media, or they don't share. They don't do something like this on this platform that you have. But Christy asked me, "Do you want to share? Do you want people to know? What do you want to know?" And I said, "I want them to know everything. Open book. They can know it, especially if it's about faith or whatever." So we shared, and then it just started getting picked up and published, and it's been quite an amazing journey and ride. Isn't that amazing? And then you understand why. There is a why to it. There's a purpose. There's always a purpose to these things. Think of how many people have been touched by your story around the world. And
the entire world, Barry. I mean, I couldn't put a number on it, but I would definitely say 1 million people have seen the story.
I'm sure you're at this point, instead of cursing God, you're just the opposite of saying, "God, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to go through that."
I do, and it's okay. It really is okay.
It's okay.
I
was being rushed to surgery. They thought I was dying. I was being rushed to surgery at 4:30 in the morning. So I'm on the gurney, and they're racing down the hallway. And my daughter, Nicole, was running as fast as she could beside me. And she was yelling. And she wasn't yelling, "It's going to be okay, Dad. It's going to be okay. Dad, I'm praying for you. Dad, keep the faith. It'll be fine, Dad." She didn't say any of that. You know what she was saying? This is her spiritual maturity coming through at that moment of crisis, and it was. She's yelling to me, "Dad, this is your testimony."
Yes.
This is your testimony. In that moment, that racing down that corridor, she's yelling at me of all things because she had spiritual maturity. She could see the whole picture. She's, "Dad, this is your testimony." I'm thinking, what? The drugs hadn't quite set in yet. You know, they're starting as they gave me some pre-drugs, but I was still cognizant. Testimony. She said, "Dad, this is your testimony." And all of a sudden it hit me. It is my testimony. I have no fear. I know it's going to be fine. This is my testimony before the surgery. Yes, this is my testimony. Bam, we went into that surgery, you know. And since then, you know, it's been almost 20 years since then. It's been my testimony. I had the faith before the storm, before the problem, before the challenge. My faith was intact. I was giving praise to God. I knew it was going to be fine. That's faith from God. You can't have it for just everything in the hospital focuses on your problem and the odds and the odds against you. You know, all the things and disclaimers they have to give you. My focus wasn't on any of that. My focus on this is my testimony. Just go for it, you know. And so you can't have those moments unless God allows you to have those moments because He loves us. And those are real life experiences. It gives me a faith, gives you a faith that nothing can shake us in our faith. At our worst moments, God was there.
He's there. He promises.
Wow.
He cannot take back His word. And
yeah.
Barry, this led to so many different things, including meeting governors and senators and secretaries of state and the vice president of the United States and being presented with the presidential medal, coin of freedom, it's like it.
Oh,
I got to share my story to the highest offices in the world. I got to, and part of that was, dials back to Mike and Sheila Ingram and, who a couple of the people that they introduced us to. And then, we met other people through them. And it's just amazing. And I got to sit down with the vice president and we called a national prayer circle and I led the national prayer. That's what we nicknamed it, I guess. I don't know if that's really what it was, but in Las Vegas, standing there in the middle of the Las Vegas Convention Center, and we had the vice president and his wife, and we all built a circle and we prayed for the nation and we prayed for God's will for him.
Only by His grace. Could you ever imagine having that kind of a platform, a pulpit, if you will, to share your faith? That's God.
I didn't see that coming.
That's God. No way. Hey, we're out of time, but I'm hoping you said you come back for another half hour.
Sure. Yes, of course. That?
Okay, let's button this one up. This is great conversation. Come back and hear the next episode of this one. We'll have an expanded version of how Cameron is actually sharing his faith. Yes, on the broad scale, but also on one-on-one. Most importantly, we want you to hear how we share our faith in the most unexpected situations on a one-on-one basis every day as we go along. And how much fun, how easy, and how much fun we have doing that. So come back to this next episode.
And Barry, I have a surprise for you.
Oh, good! Can't wait. All right.
And your followers.
All right. You hear that, folks? Come back and join us again. That's all for now. See you next time. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please let us know. Subscribe now to continue receiving my podcast and add your comments to help us attract more viewers. See you next time on the Ignite with Barry McGuire podcast.